What is up guys, it's Mega giving you yet another deck for Link Evolution. Today guys, we're doing a Yang Zing deck. This deck was requested and it's actually a very fun deck. I haven't played it since the early days of the old Legacy, so it's actually for me a blast from the past. Yang Zings are all about when they're destroyed by battle or by card effect, you get special on another Yang Zing from your deck, which is actually a very nice effect because it's very recursive. The downside is if you get caught by the grave or like a monster effect negated, you're kind of screwed really, so that's kind of downside. We have merged it with the True Kings because the True Kings are themselves so also wyverns, and their effect obviously when they're like destroyed by card effect or whatever, they get special or their effects trigger on wyvern monsters. So it's actually very recursive with your Yang Zings. And also your True Kings destroy by card effects to special summon themselves. So again, you can pop your own Yang Zing monsters, get a plus monster off them, and you get a monster on the field from your True Kings. So it's actually a very fun deck to play. If you're struggling to make this deck guys, any deck shown so far, check out the card hub. Remember tarot cards in this game or not, tell you where to find out any campaign duel, challenge mode duel, any of the card packs. That is in the description down below. And with that guys, let's get into the video. Okay guys, this is a 42 card deck simply because I couldn't think of which cards to take out, but with running desires you get through your deck pretty quick anyway. And also like I say, with your Yang Zings, they're very recursive. Like when one's destroyed you get to replace with another monster. You just keep going and going, and it's actually a very fun, it's actually not that bad that it's a 42 card deck. So starting us off is 2 copies of Ash Blossom Joyous Springs. Should your opponent do anything from the deck, like add a card from the deck, special one from the deck, or send a card from the deck to the grave, she shuts it down. Really great. On some Yang Zing cards, I really can't pronounce the first name, so I'm just going to call them by their attribute and their effect. So I'm kind of running like 2 to 3 copies of them all, apart from one, simply because we are running desires, so I don't particularly want them to be banished, so that's why we're running a few of each. So when Earth of the Yang Zing, like I said earlier, all of them have effects where if they're destroyed by battle or by card effect, get a special summon a Yang Zing from your deck, which is actually a very nice effect. And then all of your non-tuner Yang Zings have the effect where if they where you can immediately synchro summon during your opponent's main phase or battle phase, which is actually a pretty nice effect. And then they also have an additional effect when they're used for synchro summoning. So any monster that is used Earth as a synchro material, it can't be destroyed in battle. So it actually gives that monster a very sweet effect. And then as for water, if water is used for synchro material, that synchro monster can't be affected by trap effects. So again, gives them a little nice effect. On to light of the Yang Zing. The tuners have different effects because obviously they haven't got the quick synchro effect, so that's the downside. But they also have some very recursive effects. So when light, when it's in the graveyard and one of your Yang Zing cards is destroyed, you can special summon this card from your graveyard. So it actually gives, so when your Yang Zing monster is destroyed, you get special summon another monster. Then because the light is in the grave, you get special summon it. So from just one destruction, you get 2 monsters. Great for your play or for your turn, so you can go into higher links or synchro material, or you could during your opponent's turn do it to toughen up your defenses so you survive the turn. As for darkness, darkness is in my opinion one of the best ones because if it's alone on your field and you're controlling over monsters, you can send 2 Yang Zing cards from your hand to the graveyard and special summon 2 Yang Zings from your deck, one with 0 attack and one with 0 defense. All the Yang Zings have either 0 attack or 0 defense, so you pretty much get special summon of any of your Yang Zing monsters. And I'm not gonna lie, guys, you can special summon itself via its effect, which is very nice. And that effect just sets up so much. You can go into a level 6 and a level 8 synchro play. You could go into a Hulky Firebrax, then Masquerade to go into a Bowl Sword or go into a Crusader avaimax. You have a lot of stuff you could go into just from playing Darkness' effect. It's actually ridiculous. Then 2 copies of Wind of the Yang Zing. When this bad boy is used for synchro material, that synchro monster is unaffected by spell effects. Really great. And also, because it's a level 1, you can combine it with Wind of the Yang Zing if you want, and go into Light of the Yang Zing and go into Formless Synchron, so you get to draw an extra card. Then we're using 3 copies of Fire of the Yang Zing, one of the best ones in my opinion, and any monster that was synchro summoned using fire is gains 500 extra attack points. It's actually pretty nice. And then we're running that lone copy of Shadow of the Yang Zing. He's actually one of the worst with his effects, but because his level is great, that's why we're running him. So his effect is, if he's used for synchro material, that synchro monster can't switch sides, which is not that key of an effect, but it's still very niche nevertheless. And because it's level 5, it's just very easy for synchro material. And on to some True Kings, guys. True Kings can special summon them cards, can special summon themselves from their hand from destroying 2 cards, and one of them has to be at least the same attribute as the True King. And if you use 2 monsters at the same attribute, an additional effect will trigger. And then obviously all of them have an effect will trigger if they're destroyed by a card effect. So if you use 2 fire monsters to special or destroy 2 fire monsters, special summon the Vanisher, you can target one, or so you can banish 1 monster from your opponent's field or graveyard. Very nice effect. And if this card is destroyed by a card effect, you get to add a non-fire Wyvern monster from your grave to your hand again, or your Wyvern or your Yang Zings are Wyverns. So you could even add a Yang Zing from your grave to your hand. As for the True King, I'm going to call it the Fafnir because I can't pronounce its name. It is the water one. So if you use 2 water monsters, you get to banish 2 spell or traps from your opponent's field or grave. So the Vanisher does monsters. This guy does spell or traps. Really great. And also, if this card is destroyed by a card effect, you get to special summon a non-Wyvern from your deck. So again, you can go into a True King if you want to go into Calamities, or you could just bring out any one of your Yang Zings if you want to go into Pacific Synchro or even a Link play. Really great, guys. And then we're running the Disaster Lithosagium. I can't really pronounce these names, not gonna lie. If you use 2 Earth monsters, you get to look at your opponent's extra deck and banish up to 3 monsters. Is really key because you get to see what deck your opponent's running, and also you get to pick out specific key cards for their strategies, so that's really nice. And if this card is destroyed by a card effect, you get special a non-Wyvern from your grave, so a non-Earth Wyvern. So again, True King, special summon it. Any one of your Yang Zings, special summon it. Really great, guys. And then on some spell cards, guys. So we're running 2 copies of Call by the Grave. I decided to keep it at 2 because I didn't know because of the cards. Should your opponent do anything from try to hand trap you, you can remove that monster from play from the graveyard and then negate its effect. That's what Call by the Grave does. There are 3 hand traps that this card can't negate, and that's Nibiru, Gamma, and also Infinite Permanence. Because Infinite Permanence is a trap but not a monster, so you can't Call by the Grave that. And Nibiru and Gamma go onto the field instead of going to the graveyard. So that's why you can't really move them from play. So, but it's just great to get around pesky cards, and also if your opponent tries to play like a Monster Reborn or an Archetype Monster Reborn, you can just chain Call by the Grave. It removes their monster from play, and it pretty much wastes their card. I'm running 2 copies of Cosmic Cyclone because a lot of spell or traps like to be destroyed. So, for instance, Unchained. So Cosmic Cyclone just gets around them because it doesn't destroy the card. It just flat out banishes. Really great. And against Mystic Mind players, this is like the Antichrist to them, because if they have Mystic Mind and Field Barrier, they're like, oh, my Mystic Mind can't be destroyed by card effects. Cosmic Cyclone doesn't destroy, it just banishes, so it gets around Mystic Mind. When 1 copy of Dragonic Diagram is limited to 1, this guy can searches out, or this card search out all of your True Kings just like that. So you get to destroy 1 card you control or in your hand, and add a True King from your deck to your hand. And all of your Yang Zings, like say, you can just normal summon them, then just destroy it with Diagram. You get a monster off your Yang Zing, and then you get to add a True King from your deck to your hand. So it just sets up a lot of plays. Because say for instance you normal summon Light, destroy it, summon out the fire, you add the fire Yang Zing from your the fire True King from your deck to your hand. Pop the fire and any other monster in your hand, summon out the fire True King. Your fire Yang Zing's monster effect triggers, summon another monster. Because Light was in the grave, you summon out Light. From summoning 1 monster, you've now got 3, and you can just explode with that, guys. Really great Dragonic Diagram is such a beastly card. Running 2 copies of Pot of Desires. Have you not if not noticed, I'm running a lot of 2s or 3s off of the deck apart from certain cards, and it's just because I need more draw power. Desires just fulfill that requirement, and also should, for instance, if you do banish one of the cards, at least you might have another copy of that. That's why we're running 2 to 3 of near of everything. Upstart Goblins, again, another draw card. I needed some more draw power, so I decided to put Upstart Goblin in. And as for Yang Zing Path, it's got Yang Zing in its name, so you can discard it for Darkness's ability. And also, it's like a baby version of Pot of Avarice for Yang Zing. So you get to target 3 Yang Zing monsters in your grave, shuffle them into the deck, draw 2 cards. Isn't there enough? Like Avarice, you send 5 cards. This is just 3. So really not all that bad. Really great for drawing cards. Then on to some traps, guys. 2 copies of Infinite Impermanence. Absolute beast of a hand trap. So it's like an Effect Veiler, but better, because Effect Veiler can be caught by the grave. This can't. And also, Effect Veiler can only activate during the main phase. Infinite Impermanence can activate whenever it damn well wants. And also, you can play it from your hand if you control no cards. Really great. But if you set it and then activate it, any spell or trap activated in that same column is also negated for the rest of the turn. Absolute beastie card. Onto some very interesting cards. That's 9 Pillars of the Yang Zing. What 3 copies is, it's like an Omni Negate. So, should your opponent activate a spell trap or a monster effect while you control a Yang Zing card, negate the activation, and if you do, shuffle that card into the deck. And that's very key, because a lot of cards like Omni Negates just destroy the card or just flat out negates it, but they don't remove the material. So say for instance it destroyed and your opponent has a monster reborn, you're kind of screwed. So by shuffling it into the deck, it gets around that. So it's like they've lost that resource. And also you then get to destroy 1 Yang Zing card you control. So not only have you negated your opponent's card, you destroyed your card and get a free monster from your deck. So you mill in your deck and negate in an opponent's card. And then we're running 2 copies of Torrential Tribute, because again, all of your cards, like your Yang Zing cards and your True Kings, no enough plus if they're destroyed by a card effect. Torrential Tribute destroys all monsters in the field when a monster is summoned, so you could even pop it yourself. Or when your opponent pops a card, just destroy your cards, you then plus off it, and your opponent has then like lost their resources. Onto the extra deck, guys. We have got 1 copy of Baxia, Brightness of the Yang Zing. So if this card is single summoned, you target cards your opponent could target cards on the field, mainly opponents, and you get to shuffle into the deck up to the number of attributes that you use to summon out Baxia. So say you used Darkness, Water, and Fire. That's 3 attributes. You then get shuffled up to 3 cards on the field into the deck. Really great for removal. And also, once per turn, you can target 1 level 4 or target 1 card you control, destroy it. Then you get special a level 4 or lower monster from your graveyard. So that's pretty key, because for instance, if you destroyed a Yang Zing monster, you get a monster from your deck from that, and then you get special summon a level 4 monster from your grave. And if Light is in your graveyard again, you've got another monster. You've got like, from just popping 1 monster, you could go from 2 to 5, 2 to 4, which is really incredible for 1 monster effect. Then we've got 1 copy of Black Rose Moonlight, really great level 7 to go into. So if this card is synchro summoned or special summoned, or if a level 5 or higher monster is special summoned, you target 1 special monster your opponent controls, return it to the hand. If it's an extra deck monster, goes back into the extra deck. Just great to get around pesky cards because it doesn't destroy, it targets, shuffle into the deck. So all those cards like card based destroyed by battle or by card effects, get rid of it. We're using 1 copy of Crystal Wing, because we are using because if you use your Darkness's ability, you can easily go into your Stardust Charge Dragon, draw a Stardust Charge Warrior, draw a card, and then you can go in from Charge Warrior into Crystal Wing. So you go to Crystal Wing and plus from drawing a card. Really great. So when Crystal Wing is on the field, once per turn it can negate a monster effect, really key, and then it destroys the card. So it destroys the card it's negating, which is really powerful as well. And if Crystal Wing attacks a monster that's level 5 or higher, it gains that monster's attack points, which is really great. Then we're going to FA Drawn Dragster. This is like for spell and traps. Crystal Wing is for monster effects. So This card gains attack, gains 300 attack for each of its levels. So upon being summoned, it's on 2,100 attack, which is pretty nice. But each time you put once per turn when you put activate a spell trap, you can negate it and reduce this card's level by 2. So each time you use its ability, it's going to get weaker and weaker. But just keep it in defense mode if you really want, and just keep negating your opponent's spell traps. Then we're using one copy of Formless Synchron. You can use it by going into Wind and Light of the Yang Zing, or you could use Crystalline Halby Vibrax to go into this bad boy. Because it's level 2, you can use it like with your Fire to go into Stardust Charge. So you draw from Formula, draw from Charge, and then you can go into like Crystal Wing, which is really great because you're drawing extra cards while getting more and more powerful synchros. And also you can synchro summon with this card during your opponent's turn. And then we've got 2 copies of Stardust Charge Dragon. Again, when it's synchro summoned, you draw an extra card. If you use this with like Darkness and the Fire, you to go into this, you draw an extra card. You use Light and the Shadow, you draw an extra card. And again, you can go from Charge Dragon, you can go into Yazi, you can go into FA, Crystal Wing. You can go into all of your synchros, and you're drawing a card while you're going into them. Really great. Then as for Yazi, it can't be targeted by your opponent's card effects, gives it some protection. And you could target one Yang Zing card you control and one card your opponent controls and destroy them both. So you could even pop itself and pop your opponent's card. And when this card is destroyed by card effect or by battle, you can special summon one Wyvern from your deck. Again, your true kings are classed as Wyvern. So you could pop this card and your opponent's card, destroy them both, and special summon a true king directly from the deck. If you have a true king in your hand or easy access to another one, you've got calamities right there. Speaking of calamities, it's like an ultimate stall on your opponent. So once per turn, quick effect, you detach one exceeding material and declare an attribute. All monsters on the field become the attribute, and all monsters with that attribute on your opponent's side of the field cannot attack and they can't use their special abilities. So it shuts down a lot of monster effects and it stops your opponent from attacking. Then during your turn, you can just go off. And also, you can tribute monsters for your true kings if calamities is in play. So you could declare all monsters to be water. Then you can destroy 2 water monsters your opponent controls, summon out your water true king, and then because you use 2 waters, its additional effect will trigger. See what I mean? Calamities is just really great. On to some extra deck, guys. We are running on some Link monsters. We are running Borrelsword Dragon because he's just the ultimate OTK card. He can't be destroyed in battle, and you can once per turn you can make quick effect. You can target one monster in the field, swap it from attack to defense mode, and if you did that during your turn, Borrelsword attacks twice. Really great. And if Borrelsword attacks into a monster, it gains half that monster's attack and they lose half their attack. So again, it's just there to help push for boards. Crystalline Halby Vibrax is another great card. You need 2 monsters to go into it, but one of them has to be a tuner at least. And when this card is link summoned, you get special summon a level 1 to 3 tuner from your hand or deck. Really great, because if you use Darkness, special on 2 other monsters, you could link into Halby Vibrax. Halby Vibrax brings out another one of your tuners. Then you could go into Masquerena. Then from that you could go into Borrelsword Dragon or avaimax, which makes avaimax enough indestructible. Or you could go into a synchro play if you want. The world's your oyster from going into Darkness. So you could go into the link route or the synchro route, depending on the situation. And also you can remove this card during your opponent's turn to special summon a synchro tuner from your X deck. So this, you can banish it from play, special summon out Formless Synchron. Then because Formless Synchron was synchro summoned, you draw an extra card, and then you could just play Formless ability to synchro during your opponent's turn. Really great, guys. And then as for IP Masquerena, you can link summon during your opponent's turn, which is actually a very sweet effect. effect, and also any monster that uses Masquerader as a link material cannot be destroyed by card effects. So it gives avaimax enough immunity, and also it's really great to go into Nightmare Unicorn. So when Nightmare Unicorn is link summoned, you can discard one card, target one card on the field, bounce it into the deck. Really great. So during so if you did this with the Masquerader play, say your opponent like normal summons a monster, you chain it with Masquerader. Masquerader goes into Unicorn, you bounce that monster they've normal summoned back into the deck. They've just wasted their normal summon, which is actually very powerful, and then you've literally plus by getting a stronger monster in its place. And then if you wanted to, you can go to Crusader avaimax, because when avaimax is link summoned, it can't be targeted by card effects. If you use it with Masquerader, it then can't be destroyed by card effects on top of that, making it very powerful to get over. And if this card battles a special summon monster, it gains that monster's attack points. So it's actually very, very difficult to get over unless you go up against certain cards. Looking at you, Kaiju's. And then if this card is sent to the graveyard by your opponent, you can shuffle one card in the field and shuffle it into the deck. Really great, because then you get around a lot of pesky cards. Cards if it does go to the grave. And that's it for the deck, guys. It's actually a very fun deck to play. It's actually, I've missed playing Yang Zings. I didn't realise how much I've missed them from when I actually fought them again and actually played them. It's actually a very fun deck to play. And it's not the best one, obviously, because obviously Yang Zings aren't that competitive anymore. And it's a very fun casual deck, in my opinion, to play. So if you enjoy this deck or any deck, or have any ways to like improve it, let me know in the comment sections down below, or maybe consider hitting that thumbs up or subscribing, because any one of those helps the channel grow. I do hope you stay tuned for another deck, because we have got some more coming. And what I say, guys, I do hope you all take care, have a fun day or night, and I'll see you when I see you. Take care and goodbye.
けなくなっても君の声を